Hey, John Cruz here, and I've just had my 2019 Mercury FourStroke, the new big bad dude. We don't need to talk about the performance because everybody knows this thing absolutely rolls, but it's been about 40 or so hours on this engine, anywhere between 30 and 50 hours, kind of depending on how hard you run it. You're gonna have to replace your lower unit oil, and this has got the Gen 2 TorqueMaster. The TorqueMaster has that bigger prop shaft, which I like, but I'm gonna just show you real quick how that's done. I'm gonna walk you through all the steps. I keep this prop alert on there when I'm traveling. Helps keep people from running into the back of you. And then first thing you gotta do is get you a block of wood right here, and then you're gonna get your prop wrench. I like to have my prop wrench on there, get it on there, and then you're gonna stick your piece of wood in there. I like this one with the carpet on it. It keeps your prop protected as much as possible, but then you're just gonna take that off, just back off that lock nut all the way until it's off. I'm gonna just move this off to the side. Go ahead and pull off the nut and the thrust washers here. There's a little stack of them. They're real easy to put back on. The only thing you have to watch for when you put back on is the last one that goes on. It's kind of bowed up a little bit, but you're gonna take your prop off. Then you're gonna take your hub off. This is the racing hub that goes on there, solid piece. And then see, that's that bigger prop shaft. And then you got, if you come a little closer here, you got 2 drain plugs. Now on the previous models, you had one drain plug here and then another one up here on the side of the lower unit. This is a little bit different. The 2 drain plugs are right here, but we're gonna just drain that here in just a second. I'm just showing you what I've got. I've got the SAE 90 Mercury gear lube. This is definitely the only thing you want to put in your lower unit. We're gonna go ahead and take the top off of that. Then you're gonna have your little pump that goes into your lower unit. You're gonna have that there. I'm gonna just set that aside. Then you're gonna have a tray so you can have something for your lower unit oil to go into. Now I've got plenty of extra gear lube, but you're just gonna have you're gonna have your little flat head that you're gonna take these screws out with. I'm gonna lower the engine a little bit more. Lower that a little bit more. You're gonna take your bottom one out first, because your bottom one is gonna have the, that's where it's gonna drain from. And when you take it out, you wanna make sure that you get the little rubber gasket that goes on there as well. So I'm taking it off real carefully. The rubber gasket's coming. I'll show you that gasket here in just a second. But you want to make sure you get that little yellow rubber gasket that comes off with it, because if it's damaged or anything, you need to get a new one. But that one's good. We're going to put that over here with the other parts. And see, nothing's coming out yet because this, it's totally sealed. And this is the upper end drain hole. Once we crack that dude and start getting some air flowing through there, it's gonna start draining out of the bottom. But we're gonna go ahead and get that one out as well. And I'm gonna make sure I get the yellow. Well, that yellow one's staying right there, but as you can see, it's starting to come out. Now we're gonna go ahead and tilt it on down. As you can see, that it's nice and thick. That's what we want. We're just gonna make sure we don't see any shavings or anything crazy in there when we're undoing it. Got that coming out. Now it's gonna take about 30 minutes for this to drain under normal conditions. If it's cold, it could take up to 3 hours. It could take a long time, but here we're room temperature. So in about 30 minutes, there'll be a whole bunch of lower unit oil there, and then we'll show you how to fill it back up. All right, here we are. We came back here. It's been about 45 minutes or so, and as you can see, there's no more oil draining out of the bottom of the tank. So we're gonna go up here and give us a little room to work. just in case we get any drips. We're going to keep that little tub under there as we work. Now we can get to the situation here. You always want to keep some paper towels handy. You may need more than that, but I like to go ahead and get the excess, wipe your excess off of here. Try to clean it up a little bit, and then I always try to turn it a little bit, make sure everything's freed up in there. And then we're gonna go over here to our little handy pump. It goes right on top of the quart, and you always want to pump from the bottom. You want to get in there. You want to get this on there. Try to get it to thread on there properly, so you don't have a bunch of overrun. You don't, and it's just a plastic deal. You don't want to do too much. That's nice and tight. And then you're just going to pump, and in the clear tube you can see that oil coming through. So now you can see the oil coming up, and we're just going to keep pumping it and keep pumping it until it comes out of this top hole. So I'm going to have my screwdriver, and I'm going to have that handy, so that when I see it start coming out of that top hole, that I can go ahead and put that screw back in the top hole. And now it's going to have there's about 17.5 ounces, I think, is the capacity of this lower unit. So we've got quite a bit to pump. We got about, a little over half of this bottle to pump, and we're about a third of the way. So we're just going to keep pumping away at this deal, and you can watch it and see it's just solid oil coming through there. It's a handy little deal. It's inexpensive, not a pain to do. It's pretty easy. And just remember, when you have this have the oil here, you want to dispose of it properly. You can take it to most auto parts stores, places like that, and they can dispose of that properly. It's the best way to do it. So keep your cover, or you can get a proper oil pan as well. We're getting there. Just a couple more ounces, I believe. You got to keep pumping away until you get it all in there. We're just almost halfway down. When it gets close, I like to pump a couple times and then wait a second. Yep, there it is right there. Just started to come out of the overflow. Just started to come out. So now the gasket's already on there, so I'm putting the screw back in there. I'll tighten that all the way up. Tighten that all the way up. And then I'm gonna unscrew this. And when you unscrew it, there's gonna be a little bit of oil that comes out, and that's okay, because the majority of the oil is gonna stay in there. Just a teeny tiny bit will come out because you've sealed the back side of it with this over here. So I'm gonna have my screw handy, be ready to plop it in there as soon as I get that out of there. I'm gonna put that right in there as soon as I can. And you can see the different color of the oils, the old oil versus that new oil. That old oil is kind of brown looking, and that new oil is blue looking. We're just gonna screw that on there. Try not to make too much of a mess here. That's pretty simple. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how easy it is to clean it back up. So now I'm gonna clean up the excess here out of the prop area, the hub. Not too bad. Just clean up that. Clean up lower unit excess. Clean that up. First time you put it in the water, it'll clean that up real easy. Move that over there. And then to put it back on, you want to make sure there's no debris, dirt, or anything on there. Make sure there's no debris, dirt, or anything. Just put that on there, and you'll feel it go on there. You gotta hold the shaft and spin it until those spines line up. Goes all the way down. Then you put your prop back on. Then you put your thrust washers back on. You want to put the big one on first. And then you're going to look at it and see which one's flat. This one's flat. This one goes on first. This one's got a little bit of a bow to it, and you want it to be bowed out back towards you when you put it on. Put your prop nut back on, that lock nut. Get that on there. And we'll just tighten it up real quick. And when you're tightening it up, I like somewhere around strong, extremely strong. But definitely want to put your weight into it. I don't know the exact torque measurements, but I've done a ton of props and that's about it. So that's how you change your lower unit oil on the TorqueMaster on the new Mercury 4-stroke. It's a bad boy. Just keep it maintained. You'll have no problems with it.